Hi, I'm Kulani. I'm a PhD student of NAS. My supervisor is Professor Jin Song Tong. Today, I present my work on scrutinizing implementations of smart home integrations. This was published in the TSC journal last year. First of all, I'll give a brief background to smart home systems. I think you may already have used smart home systems, but let's see how popular are they. According to Statista, the global smart home market of last year worth about 73 billion US dollars, and it is expected to grow in the coming years. Even we are having this COVID-19 situation currently, the researchers still expect that the market will be rebounded back in 2021 and continue to grow. So we can see that these smart home systems are getting popular, but are they secure? In 2016, we heard about the biggest DDoS attack in history, which was launched by using about 150,000 of hacked smart home devices, affecting several popular websites. Last year, F-Secure researchers reported that their honeypots observed about 2.9 billion attempts on vulnerable ports that also belong to IoT devices. This year, Trend Micro warns that the home routers can be attacked. This is important because the home router is like the central gateway where all the smart devices are connected to. So we can see that smart home systems are vulnerable to attacks. These are some existing work that address security of smart home systems. I categorize them as flow identification and security hardening in system design and implementation. We further observed that these systems mainly focused on a single technique or component of a smart home system, like platforms, protocols, and smart devices. Under platforms, the popular platforms like SmartThings, IFTTT have been extensively studied for their access control and authorization models, also about privacy analysis. And the protocols, both open and closed protocols have been studied. Under smart devices, several smart devices like smart locks, smart meters, fitness trackers have been studied for their security and privacy. So we see that the existing work mainly focused on individual component of a system. Then what about the security when integrating these components as a single smart home system? So in this study, as a complement to existing work, we focused on analyzing the security of the integration. Why it is important to analyze the security of smart home integration? This is the three-layered architecture of IoT. We can see that each layer has heterogeneous of technologies. When we are trying to integrate these technologies into a single smart home system, there can be incompatibilities and invalidated assumptions introduced to the implementation. Incompatibilities happens since a single smart home system includes devices manufactured by diverse vendors. For example, in the Philips Hue system, we can see that the bulb supports variety of hubs, including, for example, SmartThings, whereas the SmartThings hub also supports a variety of smart devices. To enable flexibility among the devices manufactured by diverse vendors, they sometimes introduce weak security into the implementations. For example, in the Philips Hue system, we see that there are two authentication mechanisms over the different underlying network protocols like ZigBee and Wi-Fi. Therefore, when the control point is already authenticated, if there's malicious act on the control point, it can get unauthorized control over the bulb because the bulb does not have a way to verify the identity of the malicious act. Next is invalidated assumptions. To reduce complexity and cost in building a smart home systems, manufacturers usually make assumptions. For example, they may assume that the home Wi-Fi is secure, but it may be not. Another is implicit trust on other components of the system. For example, in the Philips Hue system, the bulb implicitly trust the hub. Then if there's a malicious hub nearby, then the bulb, the hub can get unauthorized control over the bulb. To address this problem of smart home integration security, we propose a solution called HomeScan. The goal here is to extract the abstract specification of the application layer protocol and internal behaviors that are relevant to security from the implementation, then analyze its security. To achieve this goal, the main challenge we see is the partial availability of the implementations. For example, since these systems are mostly proprietary, we do not have access to source codes. We may only have access to executables and libraries. The communication may have used cryptographic protocols, so it may be not clear. To address these challenges, we propose a set of techniques in our approach. To explain the approach, I use the Chromecast system as an example. The Chromecast system has three components: control point, CP, Chromecast receiver, CR, and the YouTube server, YS. The Chromecast receiver has a Wi-Fi hotspot. It can be plugged to the TV console, then through the HDMI port, then power on. Then the control point can discover the Chromecast receiver and configure it to the home Wi-Fi. After that, CP can send any video casting commands to the YouTube server to cast video to the TV console. In this system, we only have the access to the source code of the CP, and the communication between the CR and the YS is not accessible even to the traffic mirroring. We cannot extract meaningful information from that. So we avoid that communication. Our approach takes three inputs: initial knowledge, the implementation, and a set of test cases to prove the functionalities in the system. Next, we first perform pre-processing. In this component, we first capture a set of traces representing the communication between the participants. From the traces, we extract values and included them in a data structure that we introduce as transactions. In the Chromecast system, for example, if the CP send messages of HTTPS to YS, so we use Fiddler tool to capture the HTTPS messages. Then from this message, we extract data to the transaction data structure, including the sender, receiver, channel, and message components. We perform this for all the capture traces and obtain a list of transactions, then input this to the specification extraction component. In the specification extraction, we try to infer the semantics of the extracted values from the message captured from the traces. We use hybrid techniques, a white box analysis and trace analysis to infer the semantics. For the white box analysis, we take all the source codes available. So for example, we need to infer the semantic of the message sent by CP. So we use the source code of the control point. In the source code, it may be that the message generated by a function over a value received from the CR. Let's see. We first identify this a code snippet from the source code that uses cryptographic APIs because we are interested in security relevant internal behaviors. Next, we generate the abstract syntax tree of the code snippet. We also, since this is Java, we use a Java symbol solver to resolve the nodes, such as to identify expressions and variables. On top of this knowledge, we apply a set of rules that we define to assign domain types and to propagate them. For example, we identify the message get instance as a security API function. Then we assign this to this method expression node as MD5 because it defined the type of the message digest as MD5. We propagate this type to the variable node, then to similar nodes in the AST. Second, we find another security API function, digest, which perform the hash function. We derive the domain type as MD5 hash. Also, the input to the function, we infer the type as plain text. So after that, we propagate the, like previously, we propagate the type to the variable node. And next, we have an interested API, which perform string processing. Based on that, based on that rule, we infer the string node as the plain text. It propagates from the interested API's expression node to the string node. We apply these rules repeatedly until the type is propagated to the return node. So as a result, we obtain the type of the return value as MD5 hash and the input of the function as a plain text. This way, we can infer the type of the message which generated by the function A as MD5 hash. The next technique we use is trace analysis. For this, we use some noun semantic, such as a node configuration or a node control command. In the CR, in the Chromecast system, CR send a message to CP and CP send the same message to YS. We need to infer the semantic of this message. The node configuration, we perform a node configuration change. We we reset the CR while we capturing the traces before and after instances. Next, we apply differential analysis. We check what happens to the message. In this case, the message changes when the CR reset, and all the other times it is a constant. So we infer the semantics of this message as CR's session identity. This is another example. We can replace the hub and extract all hub specific values. Second one is control commands to infer the semantics of the encrypted packets over ZigBee channel. We can perform it with respect to the non control command. In this case, we first capture the heartbeat packets. Next, we perform the control command capture again. Then the difference, we get the difference and the remaining packets infer as corresponding to control command. This way, we extract the, we infer the semantics of all the extracted values in the transaction list. Then we use a simple algorithm to transform them into LTS representation. For the Chromecast system, we get 3 LTSs representing CR, CP, and YS. In the specification in brief, the CP requests for a session ID from CR. It replies with the session ID. Then CP uses this as a session ID to obtain a launch token from YouTube server. Next, the CP can send a casting request using the session as the launch token to the YouTube server. Now we have the specification of the smart home integration. Next, we perform flow identification. First, we require a set of attack models and security properties. In this study, we consider that any participant in the system can be a malicious participant who collect information or, or can send unauthorized commands. Also, there can be a network attacker over any available channels. For the security properties, we consider data level and access level. Under data, we verify confidentiality and integrity. Only the authorized parties can obtain sensitive information, and the information should not be altered or modified. Under access, we consider that all the participants in the system should be able to verify the identity of their communicating partners, and only the authorized participant should be able to access resources and perform actions. Next, we generate the system model using the extracted participants and the attack models. The system model is a product of all the models, the participants and the attacks. Each state in the system model specifies the state of the extracted participants and the attackers. The attacker we have here is a malicious CP. The behavior of the malicious CP is very similar to that of the benign CP. The only difference is that it can save the information and send out any message. Next, now we have the system model. Next, we can verify the security of the system model using some verification algorithm like DFS and BFS. Our flow identification is a reachability analysis. We check whether a particular bad state in the system model is reached when the system executes. The bad state is defined with respect to a security property. For example, representing the authorization property, we can define for the malicious CP as if malicious CP able to send out a video casting request. In this example, we can see how the bad state is reached. Malicious CP obtained the session ID, request for a launch token, it received the launch token, then send out a casting video. Now we can see the bad state reach, so the authorization property violates. Next, we investigated why this happens, and we identified that the reason is CR does not verify the identity of malicious CP when sending out the session ID. We applied our approach to 3 existing smart home systems, Philips Hue, Lifxit, and Chromecast, and we found about 12 vulnerabilities. We have here a set of selected vulnerabilities. In Chromecast, there are also, in addition to in the example I show, there's lack of device or user authorized authentication, so the malicious CP can obtain the identity of a private YouTube video of the victim. In the Philips Hue system, the bulb can be hijacked by a malicious hub due to the use of CP Lightlink protocol, and there's lack of control to administration commands. In the Lifxit system, there's unprotected Wi-Fi hotspot. This allows a malicious bulb to act as the benign. So the control point when trying to configure with the home Wi-Fi, malicious bulb can obtain the password of the home Wi-Fi of the user. Okay, so in summary, to address the smart home integration security, we provide a set of hybrid techniques to extract its specification Then we analyzed its security, applied it to three existing smart home systems, and found 12 vulnerabilities. This is about my work. Thank you very much for listening.